Hey, what's going on, gamers? Welcome to another episode of Gaming's Howl, the gaming talk show where we talk about anything and everything related to gaming, whether that be news, reviews, movies, history, and more. I'm your host, Graywolf, and today we are joined once again by guest and old friend Caesar, also known as Caesar v. Thunder.
The cringe. No.
Hey, can we just acknowledge the fact that I actually didn't fuck it up this time?
I
Like, that
know.
intro.
It's the first take and you didn't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Improvements.
Yeah, so 2 weeks since the last episode, and we actually have a decent amount of interesting topics to talk about today. I'm actually very happy, and that's including with my new job too. So I'm actually happy that didn't hinder anything. Well, at least at the moment, anyway. But yeah, so hopping right into it, as I just go on my phone to just check the topics list real quick. We have EA's Skate 4 coming to PC.
Hmm.
Now, I've actually never played any of the skates in the Skate franchise from EA, but it's one of those. I'm just honestly glad to see more games coming to PC. Like it's just
Yeah.
like it's one of those. Just the entire idea of like, oh hey, you can play this game not only on console but just now on PC too. Like I like that. What's the word I'm looking for? Flexibility.
Yeah. No. I 100% see that. I have actually played Skate in the GameCube. I believe there was one that came out on the GameCube. It was some sort of skating game. I believe it might have been one of the Tony Hawk ones, where you get to like make your own character, make them look goofy as hell, and then they kind of throw you into this like mini world where it's like, okay, do a bunch of tricks, complete the challenges, good
Are you
luck.
talking about the Pro Skater franchise or the Underground franchise, if you remember? Because I know that
Maybe Pro Skater.
yeah, because I know for a fact that they released Pro Skater the remastered 1 and 2 not that long ago.
Yeah, but they kind of have the same principle. You create your own character, you do a
Yeah,
bunch of tricks around the world. It has like some, like maybe like a 2% level of actual story, and you just do it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the idea of games coming to PC. I'm a PC player. Like,
just make sure they're not
I
goddamn
just
broken.
yeah, I just think that games look way better on PC. That's just me.
Yeah,
Like, I don't like being limited to what the consoles can do. Now, don't get
yeah.
me wrong. There's some consoles right now that are very fucking powerful and make games
PS5
look
and the
really
Series
fucking good.
X.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they're looking into pushing themselves away from the console era and more into the PC.
Well,
So,
I think I think it was one of those where I think they're just also bringing it to PC unless I like just failed to look at the article right. I think it's just also in addition they're just bringing it to PC as well as the console.
mhm.
Um, Now, speaking of EA, uh, heading into our next topic, unless you have any more you want to add on to it.
Nope.
Um, but yeah, no. Speaking of EA, Apex Legends, they actually added in a new badge. Now, for those who may not always be keeping up to date with Apex, they've added in a few badges: Black Lives Matter badge, Asian Lives Matter badge. This one I'm actually really happy about because of the fact that this is a topic which I feel like is not actually brought up all that much online, at least from my own personal experience. I don't think I've seen it really talked about all that much, and that is that Apex Legends now has a suicide awareness badge.
So I don't know what brought them to add this into the game. Now I'm 100% stoked with it
Yeah,
because I want to say this might be the first time that a company has added something just to actually just add it and not because something tragic happened.
yeah, and yeah, and like for me, as I said before, it's one of those things where it's like it's like those that kind of topic is one of those kind of topics where I feel like it never gets talked about online, so I feel like it's just not as made aware to a lot of people. So the fact that they added like that I'm actually really happy about.
Yeah, like you said, it's not talked about that much, especially in the gaming community. It's kind of like it happens quite often,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
because like
and people are just too afraid to like seek
yeah,
out help, and they just think they're just alone in the world, but that's not the case. And you know what? props to them for bringing awareness to this, because it's very serious.
Yeah, because I've known of I think one gamer who has taken their own life, and you might have heard them too, Etika.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, so like he's just a name that kind of comes to mind whenever I look at this, where it's just like, okay, like this may help with that or whatever, and just kind of if you're someone who's having trouble, this may help like encourage you to kind of like seek out help and whatnot, and just have other people.
Well, it's mostly for so that they can see themselves that there's other people out there
Yeah.
who understand this. They know like, I'm not the only one who's feeling this way.
Yeah.
And you know what? They might seek out some of those people and be like, "Oh, you want to be buddies? You want to play some games?
Yeah.
Here you go."
As Phil Spencer says, gaming connects us all, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Now, speaking of Apex, there is actually a controversy over a new update which they're going to be releasing. I don't know if it was like an 11.1 patch or whatever that's going to be coming, but they're going to be removing tap strafing from PC, which when that got announced, I saw a lot of PC players actually get very upset by that.
I mean, it's one of those things that it was only very. It was used mostly on PC, and like don't get me wrong, it's one of the small advantages that PC gets over consoles when they have little aimbot. So
I mean, that's the thing though. Like console, like, because whenever I see like PC players complain about like aim assist or whatever, I thought it was in terms of like like the bolt magnetism or whatever. But it's one of those, like I've really actually never seen aim assist be too much of a help. If anything, I've always found it to be more of a hindrance. Personal opinion.
no, that's the thing though. So what aim assist technically does is it helps. It's supposed to help you aim. It's not supposed to hold the gun in the certain direction that you're holding it at. And that's generally what most people tend to get frustrated about when it comes to console, because the amount of motion you need to do on a controller for you to maintain a very straight shot, it's very minimal compared to us on PC, where we have to actually do an entire motion on the mouse in order for us to maintain the shot really accurate. So now obviously it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so console, the controller itself has its limitations. You
Yeah.
can literally barely tap it and you're all the way to the side of the map already.
Like the one thing, if like it's one of those, like I know another thing that PC has in terms of advantage is the fact that you can kind of like strafe move it as you're like looting and whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
that's a feature which I really, because of the fact that they removed tap strafing, I hope they don't remove that too. If anything, I would like for them to actually add it to console. And I remember I was either watching TSM's Snipe Down stream or watching what he was saying on Twitter, but he basically said that if they made it so that you could actually scroll through the inventory using the left and right triggers and just use the left joystick to kind of like move back and forth, that would be an easy way to implement that.
The one thing that kind of makes me wonder is like, why is it that so like the left joystick is for you to move, obviously, and the right one is to aim.
Mhm.
Why is it that you can't just like tap, like move the left joystick back and forth, and then with the right joystick you scroll up and down from the inventory, and then just press A as you're grabbing the shit?
Hey,
Like,
Caesar, have you ever considered working for Respawn?
dude, all I'm saying is that there's some companies listening to what I'm saying in this stupid show, and clearly they're about to make bank. So, hire me, people, please.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Honestly, that's even better than Snipe Down's idea. I'll definitely say that. And if they ever do make it so that you can actually strafe while looting, I would actually be very happy. Because if anything, I think that would definitely be a huge plus for console players. Just not so much in terms of like keeping up with just computer players, as much as it is just like having like having PC and console kind of be as much as just on the same footing level as possible. You know, like I think that would just be
Yeah.
like healthier for competitive environment.
Or if something that they can do that I think would be even better advantage is like, so you understand, obviously that when you're in the middle of a fight, the first thing you're looking for is for an armor switch. That you're not looking for ammo, you're not looking for a bat, you're looking for an armor switch, so you can continue fighting without worrying about going down. Why is it that you have to scroll all the way down to find the armor for you to do the armor switch real fast? Especially as a console, like you're saying, like a console player, you have to stand still, you have to scroll through everything, grab as much as you can before you fucking die. So, I would propose that the armor and backpack and knockdown shield, instead of having the weapons and the ammo at the very top of the list, put those things on top of those. And then add another layer like below. Here's the weapons that the guy had. Here's the ammo. And here's all the other crap below.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like. Sorry if I'm a bit slow in delays. I'm actually answering a text while we're doing this.
That's fine.
The amount of multitasking. But yeah. We also have even more Apex news though. So we actually have now Rampart's Heirloom being released, as well as the event which is coming in is the Evolution Collection, which launches,
Wait.
or not launches, but takes place on September 14th.
Wait, Graywolf, do you hear that?
The tap.
Do you hear that?
The tap.
All the Watson mains that are crying because they didn't get their heirloom first. Dude, I find that hilarious. I don't know why. Like, I don't know.
No. They're just crying because of the fact right now that Watson ain't getting a buff.
That too. But whatever. Watson's okay as she is right now. Like, she can eat grenades. She already is a counter to fucking Fuse. Like, what else do you want? Do you want the increase in shield regen to be faster? Like,
honestly, I would actually not mind that as a buff for her. And the only reason I say that is because when I actually made a video for Watson some months ago showing off her abilities and whatnot, the amount of time it took just to refill 25 shield, like, it takes a good, like, solid few minutes. Like, if they made it so that you could replenish an entire bar, maybe not in 30 seconds, but, like, in 45 seconds to a minute, I think that would actually be fairly better for her. Because then at that point, I feel like she would be more, not of a tank, but she would be more durable, you know?
I could see that. You know what's a good buff that I think they should add to her? And this sounds really AIDS, but they should make it so that her fences, you could actually stack them even higher. So that if fucking Octanes or like Valkyries try to fly out of the fucking sky, they have to really go for it. Like, really high up. Like, just make it so you can stack one more layer of fences on top of the fence.
Yeah. And speaking of Rampart, this is something which I kind of laugh at out of fear and just kind of humorous purposes. The fact that in the latest patch notes, they're saying that Rampart will be able to run with Sheila her ultimate.
Yes, so I read a little bit on this, and apparently, so yes, you're gonna be able to be mobile with Shayla out. But
it's basically just, you now have the equivalent of Mule Kick from Black Ops Zombies in your pocket.
Yeah, but the thing that they made it also is that you only get one magazine. So, you're no longer like just, as long as you're on Sheila, you can just wail away at whatever the fuck you're shooting at.
Well, no, it's like that is very much an appropriate balance. But like, say you have one bullet left, all you have to do is place the turret down, and then it's just infinite ammo again. So like, you could literally just, so say your teammate goes down or whatever, you pull out Sheila, you just start spraying, right? And like, they're not gonna come out when you're spraying or whatever. And then if you make it so that you can just buy yourself about like 5 or 10 seconds, you set the turret up, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, ready to go. Like I think if anything, I do believe we're going to be seeing Rampart a lot more in ranked. I could be wrong, but just the idea of that I think is going to be drawing people a bit more to her.
Yeah, I think so. It is a good idea that you're thinking of. Is like, okay, you can shoot, you can set up your turret, but I want to say that the big thing on this is that if there's a whole animation for you to like let go of Sheila, mount her up on something, and then you're able to start fighting again, like on your own, that's gonna be a big detrimental for her, because you're essentially hoping that the enemy doesn't see you, like doing that entire animation of you putting the ultimate on the turret holster, and then you're able to fight again. Like that whole time, you could literally die, like in just animations. That's why I think it's a good buff that she's mobile, because let's be real, in Apex, if you're not a mobile character, you're most likely gonna die.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Now we just need a Watson event to get Watson buffed, but we know that's not going to be coming for another year.
No, sad. All the Watson mains are crying out in the world.
And just memeing about their pain and suffering.
But hey, they get their ultimate instantly when they have a fucking old regen, so stop crying.
Yeah, real. Plus it gets to carry 2 in a single slot.
Yeah, like what the hell?
Yeah. So, alright, so you got any more to say about that, or?
Nope.
Alright. So moving on, continuing on for a third episode in a row, we got another, well, I don't know if this was necessarily an auction, but we have Halo Combat Evolved sold for $300,000. Not in the same ballpark as the 2 Mario games, mind you, but still not a small sum of cash either.
On, people! We're in the midst of a pandemic. Where are you getting this money? Like, what? Did you get it from the government? Like,
Some
money
people just
that
save it
they
for
were giving
rainy
to
day.
companies?
Like, that's the
Dude.
kind of shit that I do.
I mean, Jesus. I still, Halo Combat Events is, okay, it is a really good game, obviously, but holy smokes, 300K. Can you imagine how much food you could buy with 300K? That could pay for my house.
You're gonna think I'm kind of crazy on this, but part of me is just like finds it insulting that it only sold for 300K.
Low key, I'm kind of on the same boat on that. I would have at least seen 500K.
Oh no!
But
You could call this my biased and nostalgia talking, but like I would have wanted it to see it have for like $1 million.
I don't see that.
800K.
I don't.
800K.
Debatable. I don't know. I think Halo is a good game. It's not Super Mario, obviously. But you know what? I would have liked to see it to go to 500K. That's just me. Like, now I wonder, like, how neat of a condition does this box and the game have to be for you to be able to be like, this is worth 300K. It has like a minor dent. That's why I'm not blowing the other 200K.
I mean, hopefully it's in better condition than most of the sealed copies of games I see on fucking eBay. That's all I'm gonna say. Because like I don't know if you've ever went on eBay to look at sealed copies of games, but some of them just look so bad, even for sealed. It's just like it's not even worth the price.
All right.
You know.
I'm gonna hit you with the small time story real quick. So you know how GameStop used to have that policy where if you open the game, they consider it used.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't take it back for full refund.
Mm-hmm.
So back when my father used to work at a printing shop,
oh my god,
he actually had a machine that would wrap up the plastic again, like fully. So when those motherfuckers try to chip me for $15 when I bought a $60 game and that I didn't really want anymore, so I went to my dad and my dad told me, "Give me the game." And then he literally wrapped it up, went back to the store, $60 back, bitch. Like, fuck you.
I don't suppose you could actually get that happen to some of my Halo games, the ones that I never open anymore. Not for the purpose of selling them, but be like, it's like, oh, it's all wrapped. I can say I have a sealed copy of the game again. I resealed it.
I wish my dad hasn't worked in a printing shop in years, but
God
that
damn
I
it.
remember that story specifically because he was like, "They tried to give you what? Like I spent $60 on that game. Like hold on, give me it." Like, and he did it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that was great." But it's
Yeah.
like, he's show goes to show you like how much of a condition does the game have to be for you to be able to get full price. Like in this case, how good of a condition does this game have to be for it to be 300K?
Yeah. Um, Speaking of Halo, so for those who play the MCC, the fact that like you know how MCC has been getting updated and whatnot, right? Still, like how they have new seasons and whatnot. Can I just say how insane it is that Halo 3, a game which has been out for 14 years, the fact that it's still getting new maps.
In all honesty, it does not surprise me because Halo 3, I want to say, was one of the first games that you were able to be very creative with map building. Um, and some of the maps, like for example, let's say Foundry, right?
Yeah.
Like you could, there's so many maps that are like, oh, out of Foundry that don't look like fucking Foundry anymore. They look like a completely different map.
Dude, I just
And
remember when I
also
started
on
downloading
like,
racetracks on Foundry and then just other maps. I was like, oh, it's like racing. This is gonna be the new thing for Halo. Boy, was I wrong.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, just the fact that like Halo and like I don't know if they're gonna do this, but like I would actually find it cool if they could bring other maps to the MCC as well, besides just Halo 3. But the fact that we even have new maps coming to Halo
New
3,
maps.
like
Yeah.
that's a treat.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like Halo 3 is a very iconic game.
Yeah.
Like, nobody can say no to that.
Yeah.
And,
Like it has its faults, don't get me wrong, but the amount of stuff that it does right, it does right.
yeah. Like, it outdoes the wrongs with rights. And I'm glad that they added new maps,
Yeah.
especially so many years later. It just goes to show you that Bungie really fucking cares about their old Halo games.
Yeah. Now, speaking of like Halo and just over it overall, we actually are getting a second Halo Infinite flight on the 24th of this month. Now, for those who may not have been able to get into the first flight, if you sign up for the Halo Insider program by I believe it's the 13th, you'll be able to get into it. I believe that they're making it available for everyone this time around. Don't quote me on that because I don't feel like getting an angry mom sent to my house. But yeah, no, just first flight was fun. If you're looking to get into the first flight and weren't able to make it, and you still want to try out the game, I would recommend signing up for the I would recommend signing up for the Insider since, yeah, it looks like a lot of people are going to be able to play it this time around. So, and the 24th is not that long away.
Yeah, no, it's very true. As
Plus,
somebody who continuously keeps getting emails about being invited to the fucking flights, I can reassure you, it is not. They don't risk. They're literally inviting everybody.
yeah.
Like,
Well, it's like, I mean, they really do have to stress test their servers and whatnot because they really cannot afford another blunder like MCC at launch. But oh wait, you signed up for the flights already?
I signed up for the flights
When I started
when
retweeting about them like 1,000 times on Twitter.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, yeah, I'll play like once, like just to like see it. And I just literally kept getting invited to all the fucking ones, and I never actually went to a single one.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show you.
Yeah. Well, it's like from when I talked with Joker about it on our the Halo Infinite special episode of Gaming's Howl, he said that basically he thinks that they let in a lot more people than they originally intended. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how everything goes this time around. And from what I've been hearing, the rumor is that, or I forget if it's even confirmed, but from what I've been hearing, it's gonna be PvP and a big team battle that they're
That's
gonna
not
be.
bad.
Yep,
That's good.
arena
I mean,
big team battle. So, and I believe you were very much into big team battle, right?
I was very big in. Yeah, I was actually very big into the big team battles.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, 8 against 8 is fun, but when you have 16 against 16, like, come on.
Yeah.
That's just chaos
yeah.
all around.
I used to be a fan of Big Team Battle, but then Halo 5 just came out, and I was just like, I don't really care. Maybe it's because of the fact that they had Warzone. I just was like, oh, it's Warzone, bigger, better, more explosions. So,
Yes.
but yeah, no. So, and for anyone who it may be even worried that they may not even be able to play the flights too much, don't worry. I believe that the 24th is actually a Friday, so you'll be able to play that thing all weekend if my memory is actually correct on that. But anyway, so anything else to say on that, Caesar? Or?
Nope.
Okay. So moving on from Halo, but not entirely from Microsoft, we have the Xbox Mini Fridge being brought back up, and it looks to be on track still for this holiday release.
Are you looking for a footrest? Here it is. The Xbox Mini Fridge.
No, Caesar. It's not. Are you looking for a footrest? Are you looking for a item/product that you're not going to be able to buy because it's going to get scalped within the first 10 seconds of pre-orders?
Okay. Low key, I'm like somewhat excited for this, and I might get one just because I've been looking for a mini fridge for my room.
Damn.
But
Okay.
we'll see how fast the scalpers get to them, though. Cause damn.
I still remember when I actually got my Xbox Series X. I'm just gonna say right now, I should not have gotten that console. No. Because like the amount of time it took for me to actually buy it, like, and the fact that I still got it was stupid. So I had someone in Joker server. They told me like, oh hey Gray, they just put up Amazon's listing for the Series X, right? So I clicked on the link. I added it to cart, right? It's like, oh, it's like you must sign in, right? So I tried signing in. I had to reset my password. Then I had to sign in. Then I had to go back, add the cart, and then make the purchase. And I still somehow managed to snag it. I should not have snagged that, considering the amount of time I wasted. But I guess God was like, no, I'm gonna take pity on you, you poor sad soul who has nothing better to do with his life.
Fair enough. I mean, listen, they're doing the right thing. They're releasing it by the holidays, which is when Halo Infinite comes out. So you know what? Pick up your Infinite, pick up your mini fridge, because you're not leaving the room.
I mean, hopefully they have a lot more stock of this than the Series X's, because, like, I remember the Halo Infinite Special Edition Series X, like, I was never even able to see the pre-order for that at all. And I know my buddy Joker, he was like really hoping to get it because he was gonna get it then sell his original Series X. But like no one I know of, well personally know of, was able to even hit the add to cart button. They never even saw the option.
Dude, I'm fairly sure that the second they saw that shit on the release, everybody was on the website already.
Yeah.
They were like, I'm waiting here the couple of days until it comes out on the pre-order. Oh no! They mentioned that there was pre-order in that moment, right? That you were able to pre-order after the showcase. Or at least I'm fairly sure. But whatever. I'm fairly sure that everybody was on the fucking computer at that moment when it happened.
Yeah. As I'm going back and forth between I should not be fucking doing this. But anyway, so moving on to a bit of the movie sector a bit. We had our first look at the Resident Evil live-action reboot, where we had images of our first glances at the actors and actresses, or actor and actress playing both Leon and Claire Redfield. I'm going to say right now, not that I'm not grateful for them doing a Resident Evil movie with Leon in it, but why change the hair? Just why? Like, it's one of those, it's not like the worst thing in the world, but like Leon is just known like for not only being a badass, but it's just his blonde hair. It's just, it's a staple feature.
Yeah, like, I don't get me wrong. I love it when video games become actual live-action movies, especially if they're done good. But you can't go changing stuff like that. Next thing you're gonna tell me is that they instead of being the T virus, they renamed it to something else. Like, you don't change those things on
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Well, it's like just mainly because of the fact that it's a staple part of just like the.
Of that nostalgia that you get from the movie itself.
Well, it's like also it's just like it was just the origin point for the lore. But it's kind of funny because I remember just like looking on the Twitter comments and just seeing people say like it's like yo like why did you play this actor as Leon? If anything, he would have been better for Luis Serra. And I'm like holy shit. Like I actually see that. But yeah, no, Claire, I didn't have too much of a problem with her. I think for me, what really upset me about the Leon character was just the fact that he doesn't have blonde hair. I think honestly that for me was just that's just the biggest thing which I'm upset about right now. But.
You know what? That can be easily fixed if enough people bitch and whine about it.
I mean, hopefully they don't try to CGI his hair like they did with Henry Cavill's mustache.
No. We don't talk about that shit. We just move on.
Yeah. So moving on to our next topic, and this actually kind of hits me in the feels just because of the fact that I know that we're gonna have the Halo servers be shut down later this year. The Metal Gear Solid 5 servers shutting down for PS3 and 360 in May of 2022.
I mean, we all know this is happening. Like,
yeah.
it's not new news that, you know, companies are moving away from the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I'm actually a little bit surprised about the PlayStation 3 part. But, you know what? This just gives a chance for the company to revamp the game and move it over to the next servers.
Yeah. Like, it's one of those, like, and this is kind of like one of those things where, you know the whole phrase, nothing lasts forever and whatnot? Like, I remember before, like, I saw the whole notice about the Halo 3 servers being taken down this year or whatnot, I never really kind of thought about them being taken down. And then once I saw it, I was just like, holy shit. Like, it really, once you kind of get that realization of, like, nothing lasts forever, like, nothing really lasts forever, it just hits you hard. Like, just like that first realization, you know? So it was one of those things where I had to put it on just because, you know. Moving on to a bit of a happier note, though. Unless you had anything more you wanted to add to that?
Nope.
Right. So moving on to actually a much more happy note, Nintendo Switch Online, there's a rumor, and I believe the rumor has actually now been confirmed, that Game Boy and Game Boy Color titles are going to be coming to the online Switch.
I am very excited for this because there's so many good games on the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Color. Like, obviously the old Pokemon games. There's also the old Metroid games. Like, there's a lot of really good games.
Yeah, like I'm definitely I'm looking back to going back to Gold, have like an actual file like Red and Blue, even potentially Yellow, and it's one of those. It's funny because I've always been one for like game preservation and whatnot. And part of me like even does want to get a Game Boy, Pokemon Gold, like a sealed factory copy, and they're actually not that expensive compared to everything else we've been talking about on this show. Not even near close. But it's one of those. I am very much into the idea of game preservation, and the fact that they actually are going to be putting these games on the Switch Online. It makes me less worried about not being able to play those games anymore, you know?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like like obviously companies like Nintendo and Microsoft are doing the right thing by introducing these online only methods for you to play these old games. And, you know, every company should be looking to be doing these kinds of things if they want to maintain those old communities, like maintaining them in a way of like keeping them faithful.
Sorry, entertainment. Sorry, I think I just choked on something right there. But But yeah, no, like I'm very happy with the fact that if this actually is true, which it looking like it possibly is, that both Microsoft and Nintendo are definitely looking for game preservation. Now, Sony, you just need to follow suit and get your head out of your asses. Goddamn. Because it's just so ridiculous.
Listen, Sony shits money for a living. Literally.
I mean, they also shit on their customers by making them pay an extra $10 for newer games now.
And you know what? They have so many other avenues that they one day will realize how much money they could have been making by keeping things, by retaining things, like with new services for the people to be able to play the old games.
Yeah.
That, you know what? Let them enjoy their money for now.
Yeah. But going back to the topic of Xbox, since I actually just mentioned it though, we now have Final Fantasy. Oh my God, do you know how to read Roman numerals?
That is 13.
Okay.
Is that 3 lines?
Yeah, that's 3 lines.
Yeah, 13.
So Final Fantasy 13 is now on Xbox Game Pass for both console and PC. Now, I'm not gonna lie when I actually say that Final Fantasy 7, especially the remake, that's kind of what got me intrigued to actually start trying the Final Fantasy series. Now, I actually did download this game because I wanted to try it out, but unfortunately, as nice as the game looks, as soon as I entered the first battle and saw the turn-based system, I was just like, nope, I'm out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, I've just, for the most part, aside from Pokemon, I've just never been into turn-based RPGs.
Here's the thing about 13 and 13.2. Is that so the first few fights are turn-based, but then eventually it kind of turns into more of a timer kind of situation.
What do you mean?
Where you have your turn, but you only have so long to take it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I'm more of a, like, just kind of in real time where it's like I can just dodge and just make as many moves as I want, and just, like, you just have to be careful not to get hit by the enemy that much.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's okay. Yeah, so that's just a personal preference kind of thing.
Yeah, like, that's part of the reason I'm still hoping that Final Fantasy VII comes to, well, the remake comes to Xbox and Xbox Game Pass, just because to me, like, and I know that Final Fantasy VII is arguably, like, overrated to, like, a certain degree just because of how much attention it gets, but it's the one game which has gotten me definitely curious about the franchise, as I said before, so, like, I definitely want to try that new battle system because that fits more of the kind of combat style which I prefer, you know?
Yeah, and now don't get me wrong, the Final Fantasy 13, like, when it first came out, I saw a friend of mine playing it, and dude, the graphics on the game are, like, amazing. The fights themselves, even though they are turn-based, they're really fleshed out. The story's really fucking good.
Oh yeah, no, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all.
Like, I want to say that if you get turned off by just because it's turn-based.
I mean, AHD, you know this.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're really missing out.
No, I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not debating that at all. It's just it's one of those things where it's like it really is just taste thing for me. And like it's one of those I've even started looking at the cutscenes on YouTube because like I do want to like check out the story and whatnot, but unfortunately for me, it's just the turn-based system. It's just a huge turnoff for me, and I just can't sit through it, unfortunately. So, but and speaking of in real time fighting and whatnot, so this I kind of had to include on this topic list just because I actually thought this was pretty funny. So there's a dentist, I forget where he is or whatever, but basically if you were to beat this guy in Smash Brothers, he would let you get a dental cleanup for free. If you lost though, you would have to pay.
No. If you lost, I saw the article. So if you lost, you would have to record yourself saying that I got beat in Smash by a dentist.
Yeah. I forgot about the part.
I'm like, I'm like, don't get me wrong. Like, I think this is great. This is hilarious. Like, if you get your ass beat by the dentist, now I don't know how good he is in Smash, and Loki, I would take this challenge. No.
I just go for the vanity.
Yeah, like I would just go for it too. And hell, if I beat him, I get a free cleaning.
Yeah.
It was a win-win.
It's kind of funny. I told my mother about that. She's like, "Oh, it's where this guy live." I'm like, "I don't know. I just know that this is amazing." Like,
Now, if only there was somebody who would do the same thing, but then they would go to conventions and give all the nerds fucking deodorant.
oh my god.
Dude. It would be revolutionary.
Do you know this from personal experience?
Yes. Holy shit, dude. Like,
Oh,
it's either you get so close to a person that they smell like Axe body spray, which don't get me wrong, it's okay, but then there's the people who don't wear anything.
Yeah.
And oh my god, like if you ever smell a trash can when it's full of like trash, and you know how like when it rains, then there's like the goopy water at the end of it.
Yeah.
So it smells really, really, really bad. Yeah, it's that bad. And now imagine in a con when there's like 20 of these little fuckers running around.
It's
And
even
they're
worse
just
than caustic's toxic gas.
No, caustic gas actually smells better than these people. Like, it's saddening that these things are not like taught in school, or if there are, then I don't know what the fuck happened with these kids. Maybe they
Yeah.
were off that day, maybe they stayed home or something. But oh my god, wear deodorant for the love of Christ. It does not kill you. It makes you actually feel better, and just maybe an actual woman might be actually get close to you enough to actually not pass out.
Continuing on the more of the good news, we got Cyberpunk 2077 modders are now hired to work on the game.
Now I saw this and I thought this was actually a good idea in their end, because they have realized how much they were taking in, and they were not enough hands to make Cyberpunk, unfortunately, the game that it was really hyped up to be. And they found people who might be able to bring their vision to...
I enjoy the fact that they're just bringing on people who are passionate about the game and just taking them on board. Like that just really makes me happy, honestly.
Yes. These few people that they managed to hire are the people who did not just fucking go to the store and refund that shit, because they were like, fuck this. This is not what I signed up for.
I still remember one person on Twitter talking about it's like Sony, what were you doing? I refunded my game, but I still wanted to play it. Why'd you remove it from my hard drive? And I'm like, what are you talking about? You refunded the game. Like, what makes you think you still get to play it? That's not how that works. It's called a refund for a reason.
What the fuck? That's just peak stupidity at its finest. Like,
Like, I know I get teased for being dumb sometimes, but it's like there's my level of dumb, and then there's just...
Oh no, Grayson, trust me, there's 1,000 levels below you.
That's the scary...
And I've seen them all.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
So, moving on actually to a different topic, if you're good to go on that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, moving on to actually to a bit of a different topic, and this is, I think, actually no, not the first we've actually mentioned this subject, but in terms of Pokemon, for Sword and Shield, I believe the game is, we actually have a Zarude and Shiny Celebi serial code event, in which if you redeem it by the 25th of this month, you actually get those two Pokemon. So for any Pokemon fans who are out there who may not know, there you go.
Yeah, so apparently if you signed up for the Pokemon Trainer Club newsletter, the code will be in that newsletter. So you just need to plug that into your Sword and Shield game, and boom, You
Yeah.
get shiny Celebi, which is pretty adorable, no lie. And the other guys, okay.
I still remember back in the day, like just over 10 years ago, when I dragged my father out with me to Toys R Us, like a 20-30 minute drive just to download a goddamn Pokemon.
Oh my
I'm
god.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the reason he wants to beat my ass sometimes. But
Yeah.
no, the best part was when we had an event for the Gen 4 Pokemon. And when I say we had an event, I mean I thought we had an event. So I had him. I had. I made him drive us all the way down to the Toys R Us in a nearby town or city, and the people at the Toys R Us were like, "Oh no, it's like we don't have an event, but if like maybe try the McDonald's like upstairs, like maybe they have something going on." I'm like, there's no way now. So I tried at the McDonald's, they didn't have anything. Right, come home, I was like, oh, I don't understand, and I read, oh, it's for people in Europe. Yeah, needless to say, my dad was not a fan of me that day. Hour driving for nothing. But yeah, so moving on, we actually got some birthdays to cover, or anniversaries to cover. So first one being Crash Bandicoot. Its 25th anniversary was 2 days ago.
Yay!
I feel goddamn old.
Listen, Crash Bandicoot is an awesome game. It has had some bangers in its time. Damn, 25th anniversary. That's it. It is a good series that unfortunately it can't do wrong with whatever game they decide to put it into.
I think some people would disagree with you on that on some of the games that they put on the GameCube, but
What? On the GameCube? The GameCube had some bangers. Hold up, I'm looking this shit up.
like,
'Cause I don't remember the names, but I
Yeah.
remember playing them.
well, it's one of those where it's like I don't think they were necessarily terrible, but I don't think it was one of those where it's like the Crash Bandicoot games were like considered very good in the beginning, but then like interest in them like waned
So,
off or something like that.
okay, so I'll agree to one of the games being kind of butt, and that was Crash Nitro Kart, which was a half-assed Mario Kart in the Crash Bandicoot world.
I
But
mean,
Crash
Ray
Bandicoot.
have Nitro Racing.
So Crash Bandicoot: The Wrath of Cortex was actually one of the first games that I got to play. Was like where you actually walk around.
Yeah, that was the first I think 3D game I actually ever played.
Yeah, and then the other one after that was Crash Tag Team Racing, which was actually very creative because it actually had you being in the vehicle and you could also be outside of the vehicle.
I actually forgot if I played that before Mario Kart. But again, it was like I know I've talked before about like how like and it's sort of off topic but in the same vein too. Cuz like I remember talking before about how like it's like there are so many open world games that's just like I just don't care for them anymore. Meanwhile, when it came to like 3D games back in the day, like I don't think you had like that many 3D games, and as a kid, like when you played something that was like new and fresh, like it stuck with you, you know, and it's like you love the game because of the fact that it's like you love that new feature, that new mechanic. And Crash was, as I said, it was one of those where it's like, when I first originally played the game, and I think it was actually Crash Bandicoot 3, just the fact that you could walk around in a 3D space, that was just so much fun.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And continuing on the birthdays, we have Spyro the Dragon 23rd anniversary, which was actually yesterday.
I'm not a fan of Spyro.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's
the
just
Purple Dragon.
Yeah, I know which one it is. I don't know. I just don't like the story. The gameplay is very simplistic. The mechanics are not that fleshed out.
Mario's
But this is
like
just
simplistic.
me. Huh?
I mean, Mario's simplistic.
Yeah, but Mario at least evolved from his simplicity. Spyro,
Okay,
even
yeah,
its
no, I'll
remake,
give you that,
it
yeah.
literally did not have anything fresh.
I mean,
So
they
I'm not
added
a
in
fan.
they added in the dodge roll to later games, even though it served no purpose.
Exactly. Like,
So give him that credit.
I give credit to Spyro for trying to do something cutesy, something for like the younger generation, with this dragon
I'm
who.
totally not into it because of the fact that I love dragons and may or may not be into furry shit, but that's a different story altogether.
Yeah,
Um,
no, the turtle can't tell by your profile picture, but that's fine. But I give it props for what it is. Unfortunately, it has lasted for this long.
I mean, it also has
23rd
the voice.
anniversary.
Also, Spyro's voice actor is just SpongeBob. Like, how do you not like that? Oh damn. You are really not a fan of that franchise, are you?
No, I'm not. I don't think it's a
Goddamn.
good game at all. And I think I'm in the minority for this because I know so many people who actually like the games, but I do not like them. I don't think they're great.
It was kind of funny and like blasting comment on it before we move on. I remember watching a parody of the Spyro's Adventure like through Webto's Rage and whatnot. It was like a cartoon video or whatever, but like it shows Spyro going into the like Avalar world in Spyro Ripto's Rage and whatnot, and so he enters the world, and the bad guy goes, it's like oh it's like who are you? I hate you. And Spyro's like who cares? I hate you more.
Man.
But yeah, no. So continuing on the birthdays and anniversaries, we have Elder Scrolls 2 birthday, which actually was not that long ago, and it was on August 31st.
Mm. I think, you know what? This game, Elder Scrolls are always good games. There's no bad about them.
I remember getting like what a fucking fourth or fifth one. Um, yeah, no, we're getting like a fourth or fifth one sometime within the next couple of years from Bethesda.
Unfortunately, yeah. Elder Scroll has done great with obviously with Oblivion, with Skyrim. Um, I
Just let's
You know, it's great. It's good for them.
Or
Happy
is that
birthday.
or is that Elder Scrolls that you wanted to let
Yay.
die? Oh, was it Elder?
No, no, Skyrim needs to fucking die. Needs to just put him down. Be like, sorry, child, you need to lay here. Be with the legends here on the ground because clearly they're not done beating this fucking.
We got another game we want to die, but we're saving that one till the very fucking end.
Ah.
But yeah, no, it's kind of nice though the fact that like people and even game companies remember the birthdays of their games and whatnot. It's a nice gesture, honestly. I mean, I will not deny the fact that like if you ask me that in 10 years or whatever, I'm gonna say I hate it because it just reminds me of how fucking old I am. But I'm not to that point yet, so for now I'm gonna enjoy it. But yeah. So moving on from the birthdays, we have this story, which is Horizon Forbidden West doesn't have a PS4 or PS5 upgrade. It doesn't have a free upgrade, and you also can't, if I remember correctly, you also can't pay like an extra $10 or whatever to get the upgrade for the next gen.
Hmm. I.
Which again, Microsoft and Xbox do that. All you have to do is install the god. No, it was kind of funny because someone the whole parody that PlayStation made like several years ago about like how to share a game with a friend or whatever. It's like just give the game to the friend. It's like that's all you have to do. Someone actually made a meme where it's just like from the one of the people was the Xbox One, the other was the Series X. Just like here you go, they share the game. It's just like done. Just all you have to do is fucking install it. It's just smart delivery.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, Sony! It's not that
mean,
difficult.
You know what? I think the reason why they're doing this is to try. So remember how in the last episode we mentioned how Sony is trying to maintain some of the PlayStation 4 games before upgrading and becoming exclusively again for PlayStation 5.
Well, it's like that's the thing. They're not going to be able to do that for like a long ass while, just because the fact that no one can get a PS5, like at all.
No, and that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't have a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 upgrade. Wait, this is a PlayStation 3 game? What?
I don't. Wait, Horizon was a PlayStation 3 game? Horizon Forbidden
No,
West?
it's 4.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry. The wording you used on this kind of threw me off. Never mind. No, but this is a PlayStation 4 game. Um, I do still think that this is a good thing on them. Maybe they'll add this feature in the future, for them to upgrade to be able to upgrade to the PlayStation 5. Um,
I mean, what can hope?
because of the lack of people not having a PlayStation 5 right now. So I'm not mad about this because this just means that it could be a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely not mad about it, just because I don't have a PS5 and I don't plan on getting one anytime soon. Just because one, I don't feel like going through all the stress, and two, it's just like I'm not spending $500 on a console I'm rarely gonna fucking use.
Yeah.
I already realized that the fucking PS4. Not that I regret getting the PS4, but it's kind of funny though, cause you know how a lot of people are having trouble with getting the consoles right now, the next gen.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm already hearing rumors about a mid-console refresh right now.
Damn,
It's just
son,
like,
they're moving
guys,
on fast.
what the hell? Like, no one, no, it's like no one can even get a current gen console, and you're already talking about refresh? Like, hello? Um, but speaking of Sony and their games, um, we have now a confirmation of Insomniacs, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and a Wolverine game.
Dude, I am in heaven with just those two titles right now. They show no gameplay. They just show you the iconic things that everybody wants to see. In Spider-Man, they show you I don't know if it's Miles Morales or if it's just one of the Spider-Mans in whatever universe. But you don't just get one. You get two. And possibly a third? So this just gives a whole idea, a whole world of possibilities where this game could be an open world co-op game. This could be a multiverse game where obviously you get to play as all the different Spider-Mans, which I will be 100% for.
No way home, no way home, no way home, no way home. I can't be the only one hoping that.
Like, I would be excited to see what comes out of this. If this, okay, here's the $1,000 idea that companies should actually listen to and watch is gonna happen. This game is gonna have open world co-op.
Oh, like,
and it's gonna be
co-op
online.
Or... Okay, okay.
Like, just how in the previous Spider-Man games you could free roam the entire fucking New York City, this game is gonna have co-op plus that. And you know what? I am 100% for it.
It was kind of funny because I actually did a reaction video on it the other day.
Yeah, I saw those.
Yeah. How cringy were they?
They're okay. But also, Wolverine. This also gets me excited as well.
I'm very curious to see how they do that. I'm not gonna lie.
So, from what I saw, obviously from the teaser trailer that we all saw, is him at a bar and a guy about to stab him. But also, there's a bunch of other people who have gotten their ass kicked. We can obviously expect from who. But
Bruce Lee.
I'm really excited to see where they take this, because they could go 100 different ways. They could take the Wolverine path of the most recent movie where he actually, spoiler alert, he dies. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
I don't think they would have that happen to him in a game, especially if it becomes popular. Like, they're gonna want to create another one.
True.
I will say this though, when it comes.
to that's why I say question mark, question mark, question mark though, because he technically can't die.
Yeah, and like I'll say this before kind of going back to the whole Spider-Man game, just because I want to give my thoughts on it.
Yep.
The one thing I will say about Wolverine, I'm currently more interested in how the game will play as opposed to the story, just because. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've had that many good Wolverine games. Like, not even necessarily as of late, but just kind of overall. Like, they were like, I remember the only game I really remember for Wolverine was X-Men 2 Wolverine's Revenge or whatever. Do you remember that game? It was for the GameCube.
Yes. Hold on. I'm trying to look it up and see, cause I know that there was one that had come out for the Xbox 360, which was X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh yeah, no,
That
I never
game
played it.
was a really good game. Um,
Really?
yes, it has some really good graphics. The combat was not half bad, and it had some level of open world. It was still kind of linear, but it has some aspect of open world because you could like go around like and explore and like get collectibles and maybe some upgrades,
Hmm.
stuff like that. But I do see, yeah, X-Men 2 Wolverine's Revenge. Yeah, I see that for the GameCube. I did not play this, but I have seen gameplay. It also, I don't think it shows here is for the
Yeah.
PlayStation 2, not the GameCube.
Well, I know for a fact it was also on the game because I had played it on the GameCube. But it was one of those games where it's like, you know what? It wasn't glorious, but at the same time, it wasn't like all that bad either. It was funny. I kind of like. I remember we had like cheats or like a game shark for it, so it's like I always got to the end of the game and just not knowing how to beat the final boss either because the game just kept glitching out on us, or two, I was just
Hmm.
like, okay, I just don't know how to beat the boss because I suck. Um, but yeah, no, I'm very curious because right now Insomniac they have me completely sold on SpiderMan. Um, I think, and if they actually do make Spider-Man 2 come out for the PS4, then I'm just gonna be getting it hands down because it'll be
Mm-hmm.
available for the PS4. For some reason I feel like I said PS2 for a second. Um, it's funny though because with what you're saying though about the co-op for Spider-Man, I do get a very strong hint of like, oh, it's like, are we gonna get like a bit of a tag team or co-op component here because it very heavily gives that vibe, and the fact
Mm-hmm.
that you have Venom, oh my god,
Oh.
oh,
Ah!
where do I even begin on that, man? Like, Black Suit Spider-Man confirmed much? Now, you know what actually be really interesting is imagine, well, not even imagine, but it's like I can actually see them potentially doing a possibility where at some point in the game or whatever, um, Peter, like, he somehow gets his hands on the symbiote, right? He gets into the costume. It's like for a while things are going okay, right? But then things start to go haywire or whatever. Um, but then again, I think this Venom symbiote is with Harry right now, based on the original um, Spider-Man ending. Spoilers. But I'd be very interested to see if like Peter he actually does get the Venom symbiote. He bonds with it, right? He starts losing control, and then he actually has to fight Miles, and Miles has to defeat him.
Or, hear me out for a second.
Okay.
What if they just gave you a teaser that Venom is the one that comes out, but he's actually there to try to fight Carnage instead?
I don't think they would have Carnage in it.
Really?
No.
I would 100% be down for it.
I
Like,
mean,
especially with the movie that's coming out soon.
yeah, but I don't see the movie having that much of a tie-in to the games. And I feel like if they were to have, I mean, don't get me wrong, they could absolutely well have Carnage. But concerning what we've seen so far between the last game and this current new one, um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're gonna have Carnage. But then again, I mean, they never showed Doc Ock in any of the previews for the first Spider-Man game, so I could be completely wrong on that. And I will say, I was actually very happy with the plot twist that they gave. No, and it's funny too because I remember when I first saw like the main villain for Spider-Man, like Dr. Octavius, right? Like in the beginning, I was just like, I never thought anything. It's like, oh, Dr. Octavius, a really nice guy, right? And then I see all four arms. I'm like, oh my god, how did I not see this shit sooner? Like, what the hell was
Yeah.
I smoking? It's like, oh right, Doc Ock. Holy shit, I forgot that he was a bad guy. Goddamn. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, like I'm curious to see what happens with it. So and hopefully it comes to the PS4. If it comes to the PS4, I would actually be willing to pay $70
Oh,
for it.
look, same here. If it goes to the PlayStation 4, 100% copying that, and I'm playing 100% through it. I played through the first Marvel Spider-Man, and 100% the entire game. And
I never thought I'd say it, but please, Sony, release those games for PC.
dude.
You never thought I'd say that either, did you?
No, but I'm glad you did, because the beautifulness of 180 FPS just
Yeah.
blows my mind.
But it's like it's just so I also wouldn't have to like spend $500 on a PS5 just to get the game. It's like
That too.
yeah, it's like you know what? I can always just play it on my PC. But
But yes,
yeah,
bangers of potentials coming out.
yeah,
soon.
and going back to the whole Wolverine game, as I said before, I'm not. It's one of those. I'm curious about the game. I'm not all that much hype for it. I think it's cool that they are taking on Wolverine project. I'm really hoping they surprise me with the gameplay. Right now, I don't have any expectations for that, but I look forward to seeing what they do. I mean, they blew everyone's expectations with Spider-Man, so I do have hope, and I think they've earned, especially with the whole Ratchet and Clank games too. So
all I'm saying is that I am very excited for both titles. I'm a little bit more excited for Wolverine
Bub.
because we have not had a Wolverine game since 2009.
Yeah, because no one can make Marvel games for shit because they always typically suck.
I know, but I'm glad that somebody finally decides to have some balls and actually make a game.
And they actually have skill at what they do.
I know. Gasp.
God, imagine if EA was trying to make this shit. Oh my god.
Oh no. They'll probably put some loot boxes somehow. Be like, you can get different claws.
Oh,
you get
to place one character. Anyone else? $10. Especially if it's free to play.
Yeah, no, but I'm very excited for it. Another thing that was also shown off that I don't, obviously, unfortunately, is not on here, is the new God of War Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, no, I completely forgot to add that. No, that's fine. We can talk about it here. We can talk about it.
Yeah,
because I completely forgot about
that game. I played the one before it, and you've heard me rap about it. That game was amazing. Was everything that I was hoping from a God of War game. Especially because the other three were actually really good in their own aspects because of the combat, the story, and just general graphics for the times that they got released. They were bangers.
Yeah.
This game.
Yeah.
Damn.
And it's funny too, cause like I took a look at the God of War Ragnarok trailer, and now I just want to put it out there. I've never been someone who's followed God of War. I've never been someone who's interested in it. But the new trailer for Ragnarok, it piqued my curiosity. I don't know what it was about it, but it actually has now officially piqued my curiosity.
I'm gonna try to like I'm gonna shoot my shot here, and I'm gonna think that the reason why it caught your curiosity.
Actually, no, it wasn't because of Thor. It was not because of Thor.
No, not because of Thor. No. It's because the actual trailer show you actual gameplay, show you actual combat.
It looks fluid. It looks clean. It just everything about it. It looks like there's such a passionate attention to detail, and I love that. It looks clean. It looks crisp.
Like everything that happens,
it demands respect from me.
Yes, everything that happened in the trailer, it will most likely be things that you can do in the game. If you do enough, unlocking, leveling up. But you know what? I don't mind like that on a God of War game because obviously Kratos is strong enough on his own, but he can be more powerful.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about it.
Yeah. And it's and like you also know me, like I'm very picky about games. So when something actually does manage to catch my eye, it's just like, holy shit! Like you actually managed to pull this boy away from Apex and Halo. Like what black magic is this?
Yeah, and you know what? Another part that's actually really enjoyable about the new God of War is that how they have actually decided to move away from what it used to be, where it was like very. It's still gory. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. It's still gory because it's still Kratos.
Yeah.
But they moved it away from like so much sexuality, and kind of took it more seriously. Because okay, spoiler alert: if you haven't played the first three God of War games,
Nope.
I'm gonna hit you with something that might pique your interest, or it might not, and I don't really care. So in the first 3 games, there was always a section in the game where Kratos could get laid.
Okay, now if you just excuse me, I'm gonna remove my mic and.
Kratos could literally get laid, and he will get health and he will get energy back.
I remember back in the day during the days of high school and whatnot, there was a GIF on the internet of it basically showed, let's just say Mario getting dishmoigity with Princess Peach, right? And every time he pushed forward, so to speak, you would just see one up, one up, one up, one up.
But yeah, no, and you know what's the other best part? Is you could literally keep going back to them over and over and over. And once they moved to God of War 4, they kind of moved away from that, and they took it more. I don't want to say that they didn't take it seriously before, but they took it more in a more mature audience.
Yeah, and I respect that direction, honestly. I respect
And
that direction.
it was a risk that they took, and he was
Paid off.
100% great, and he paid off for them.
Yeah.
Like, I would personally say, if you have not played God of War 4, 100% get it. It is an amazing game. Ragnarok is looking already like fucking amazing.
Yeah. Now, moving on to our second to last subject, unless you got anything else you want to add, like before
Nope.
we move on. So we actually now have some updates from the Epic versus Apple lawsuit update.
Oh, brother, what to do now?
No, so this is actually fairly interesting. So Apple was actually ordered by the court to change the way it operates its lucrative App Store in a sweeping rule brought from an antitrust case filed by Epic. I completely just read that off the title. So, but basically, I believe that the court now ruled that Apple has to allow um, developers, if they want to make uh, links so that they don't have to. So basically, customers they now don't have to pay through Apple in order to get like say like V-Bucks or something. They can actually now do a direct payment. I think is what is stating.
Oh, okay. I think I remember what this was about.
Yeah.
That it was like that is saying that you always had to like pay that extra Apple fee in order for you to get the V-Bucks when if you go to PC you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But if you're mobile you're forced to do it.
Yeah.
And you have no other options. And this is I
Yeah.
think this is what he was referring to, like that Epic was suing them because they were not allowing their customers to have another way. Like it was either them or the highway.
Now, based on oh my god, what the hell is happening? No, I don't want to. No, I don't want this. What the hell? Oh my god. I just had to close out of my Discord window on my phone just because I clicked on the article and it said like it's like do you want to subscribe and I'm like no. And there's no way to like exit out of that.
Yeah, I
But-
actually tried to click
Yeah,
that.
but what this is saying, Apple Inc. was ordered to make a major change to the way it generates money from its App Store in a ruling. Oh my god, I hate everything. Give me a second. God damn it, Bloomberg. You son of a bitch. I'm just gonna do something which probably lasts a whole lot longer. Give me just 1 second as I try to load this page one more time. I'm just gonna snap a quick picture of it. If it actually decides to load, it's not loading, so screw my life. I'm gonna quickly go onto Google. Can I just say right now, I love my goddamn phone. Although I'd love it even more if I could actually get things to load. Like, would you be able to look this up on your end, or because I'm not able to get anything on the Apple versus Epic case right now?
Unfortunately it does the same thing for me where it tells me, oh, do you want to subscribe?
No, you
But
should be
you
able to
don't
just
you
go
don't get
on.
to see shit.
You should be able to just go on Google and find out. But oh, here we go. Epic versus Apple. But yeah, no, I believe they're now making it so that Apple can't dictate the kind of payment method that people do now, where people can now either choose to pay through Apple or they can just pay directly to the company like Epic. Um, oh yeah, here we go. Mandates that Apple must allow all developers the option to point directly to other payment systems. It's a decision that cuts right to the heart of a roughly $19 billion a year. Oh no, the poor babies. The App Store use it for Apple because at the end of the day, the App Store makes most of its money off in-app purchases inside free to download games. So that's kind of crazy. That's nuts. The fact that Epic actually managed to get that.
I mean, it makes sense that they would win this. Like they, it's pretty much extortion, but not on Epic's end. It's on Apple's end.
Yeah. So I mean,
And it's like I can see the fight in both ends because obviously Epic just wants to do what's right for the customers and being able to just pay directly to the company. But also I think that for that Apple is also providing the service for them to be able to, for their customers to play the game on their system.
yeah, no, and I don't disagree with that, but at the same time, it's like you know what, I'm not like Apple's just like whatever. Like I'm not gonna like the with the amount of stupid money that they make, I'm not gonna really take
Yeah,
their
like
side
this
on
is
it.
nothing,
Yeah.
but it's like it's still an avenue of income. Like I think what people forget about sometimes is companies need to make money out of whatever they can.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like let's say for example, let's say for like a bank, right?
Hmm.
Banks don't just make money out of interest; they also make money out of fees, like shit, like getting a bank check, a money order, uh,
Yeah.
ordering checks for the people, and there's a small fee for it. Banks need to make money because a bank is still a business at the end
Yeah.
of the day. And the same shit goes for them, for Apple. It's still a business at the end of
Yeah.
the day. They need to make money.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. No. So like, I'll be curious to see what happens from here going on out though. But I don't know if this is the end of the whole lawsuit, but it's definitely a win for Epic, and I'll credit them that like they went through the entire shebang, and I mean they seem to have gotten what they wanted. So, um, yeah. Now, do you have anything else you want to add to this real quick, or?
Nope. Let's go to the grave.
All right. So, final topic of today's episode, and this is a pretty funny one, which is why I kind of threw this on here. So we've talked about GTA 5 before in the past. So it's apparent. So GTA 5 has been now mentioned to the point where apparently now people just don't want to hear about the game anymore. And it's funny because I believe there actually is a trailer on YouTube of the GTA 5 remaster trailer for the Series X and S, or also Series X and the PS5, and the dislike bar is far outweighing the like ratio. And it's funny because one of the comments I saw was like, "Oh, it's just like welcome to Los Santos." And it's like we never left. We've been playing this stupid thing for like the last like 10 years. Like technically it's like been like 7 to 8, but it's like oh welcome back to Los Santos. Like we never left. We've been living here for like the last 7 years. Just give us a new game.
Dude, listen. What that company needs to grab a meteor and throw that shit at San Andreas. He's like, that's San Andreas now. Here's a new world.
Just change the fucking layout of it for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong. Like yeah, it's like GTA 5. Like it's a good game, and they have done a lot of things with it. But for the love of God, like it's gotten to a point where it's just like now every release update they do is like, oh, here's a new vehicle, but we're just gonna make it exuberant prices, and it's just like I don't care. Like there's nothing to do in that game anymore other than just grind money for the sake of grinding it. And like I used to play that game with my COD Zombies partner all the time, but now it's gotten to a point where it's like yeah, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to really progress on. It's like what's the point of earning money if we just don't even give a shit about buying anything, you know?
Mhm. don't know. I think for people it's justified, like the company beating a dead horse essentially, and they
And
just need to come up with something fresh.
I still remember the one meme I saw when they first announced it. Right, it showed like an old, like scrawny ass cow, right? Like had like the name of Bessie around the neck or whatever, and you had a whole like 5 farmers or whatever be like, it's like, okay, Bessie, time for another milking. It's just like
Yeah,
GTA 5.
I seen that. Yeah. I think that's the same shit. The company that's making Elder Scrolls is doing the same thing.
It's just like, guys, just let the game die. Just making something
Like,
new. Like that.
no,
That
we can
is.
do something
Yeah.
out of the powder that
Yeah.
comes out of it.
It's like, we'll use it to us literally nothing but ash, and even then nothing. No, but it is like GTA 5. I do think it was like in a sense the first kind of like live service game to a degree, but at the same time, it's not able to evolve, and I think that's its greatest issue right now. Like if it had changing maps and like new regions being added onto it, like Fortnite or even Apex, I think the game would be a lot more fun and it would definitely be a lot more fresh. But if I will say this right now, with the amount of success GTA 5 has had, if GTA 6 is anything in terms of live service that Fortnite or even Apex is, at that point we're just never getting another GTA ever again as long as we live, or at least not enough for another 50 years. You know,
Yeah, yeah. The game just needs to have its rest time.
give it a cease
It's,
and desist.
yes.
just like on behalf of all gamers, just Judge, please give it a cease and desist. Let it die a very glorious famed death. But yeah, no. So I think unless you have anything else to say about it, I think we're pretty much good for this episode in terms of what we want to talk about.
Yep.
Once again, I thank you for bringing up the God of War Ragnarok because I completely just forgot about that entirely. But yeah. So for everyone who stay tuned to the end, once again, appreciate you guys for watching. Hope this episode was enjoyable for you. Was it as enjoyable for you as the last one? As the last one was. Jesus, I can't talk. Um, I think this time I think the organization of our topics was a bit better. We weren't constantly going back and forth. It was more organized than last time. So as I said, I'm doing what I can to make the episodes better little by little. Um, as the old saying goes, Rome wasn't built in a day, so it's gonna take time. I'm still getting used to it. I'm still thinking of it just like all the little tweaks I can do to make this better. But yeah, guys, as always though, if you like what you saw here, be sure to uh, like the video. Make sure to leave your feedback. And honestly, if you guys have anything you want us to talk about, like in regards to gaming news, be sure to just tweet me or just leave a comment down below about what you'd like to see us talk about. Um, as always, I'll have Caesar's social media in the description below. Hopefully, I don't forget. And
It's almost like an Easter egg now. It's like, what new thing will Grayson add? Oh wait, he was supposed to add these things already.
And yeah, no, if you guys want to subscribe for future content for future episodes, before you hit that subscribe button. And until next time, this has been Graywolf, this has been Caesar, and this has been Gaming's Howl. Until next episode, see you then.
Bye.